Gaerea, new album Loss coming out in March this year, and I love the fact that this album it seems from the very beginning very personal, and I think I'm not mistaken if I say that this is the most personal record that you recorded.
Yeah, for sure. It's the most intimate and personal record we ever did, for sure. It's about, well, a lot of our personal traumas and shattered dreams and a lot of nostalgia from our, well, upbringings. And also, of course, the a very present sense of loss for someone or from a past that you wish would have been different. A lot of we have a few songs that deal a lot with the imposter syndrome is something that we as artists feel, not just us, but many artists feel that. But yeah, it's an album about ourselves, about our struggles. So it's the first record that is not about fiction and imagination, even though it has a very metaphorical, um, even though the previous records had a lot of course, personal takes on it, but based on the humans around us. But this record is about ourselves, yeah.
Is writing about personal things and traumas, is it therapeutic for you? Does it help you to overcome all the problems?
It does, it definitely helps to talk about it. It doesn't fix anything. It's not because you write a song about something that poof goes away, you know. But it definitely helps thinking about it, talking about it, sharing um, these thoughts with somebody else, which in this case is going to be a broader somebody else, our fan base and the world. Um, it definitely helps not having stuck inside you and just letting it out for the listener, for my bandmates, for close ones, for friends. Um, it is, yeah, it is therapeutical in that sense. But I think it's more of looking at these aspects of my life in a different perspective and learning a bit more from it.
Mhm. And it seems that a lot of lyrics on the new album is about light and darkness and maybe balance or contrast between light and darkness. What does light and darkness represent to you?
Well, Light and Darkness have had many different explanations for us throughout the years. It has always been there, that paradox between perception and reality, light and darkness. I think in this case, light is hope that um, tomorrow will be better. And darkness is exactly where we stand with Lost. It's a very dark album. It's a very emotional record. Most of the record deals with very strong negative feelings, real feelings. So I think it's there's hope on the record for sure. But it's I think it ends on a yeah on a aspirational note, or mostly with the last song that asks a lot of questions to somebody else. I think there's a sense of hope for sure, something that we haven't had ever, I think. So it's yeah, it's interesting to have a record that ends with that sense of hope, so a bit of light around the corner or after this record, maybe.
Mhm. It ends with hope, but it opens with the verse, there's a comfort in forgetting, a silence in the storm. Is it about trauma?
I could say, I mean, not just trauma. I mean, sometimes it's just like memories that you wish you could forget, or you just bury. inside your past. So some of these things just like go away with time and then they just come back. Yeah, I think it's that. It's not just trauma, of course, but a lot of regrets and there's things that you just wish weren't done. But again, we're not perfect beings, and this record is about that in the imperfection of us as human beings.
Mhm. Like you mentioned, the lyrics in a way helped you to overcome the problems. And I wonder because in therapy, one of the basic elements of therapy is naming your demon. You have to name your demon to know your demon, to fight against this demon. So do you think
Okay.
that writing lyrics is maybe something similar to this therapeutic tool?
I wouldn't say just writing the lyrics. I would say the whole experience of writing the song, writing the lyrics, recording the lyrics, going through the vocal lines has definitely a lot of a big emotional element of it. Recording it, showing it to the band bringing something else also to the table regarding specific song. So I wouldn't say it's just the lyrics. The lyrics for sure, it's the start of something, but I think it's the whole experience of having the song being built that is something that kind of like fills the whole uh, meeting experience of the demons, as you say. So I wouldn't say for me it's just like writing the lyrics and everything is there. I think it's the whole experiencing the whole song, and then you kind of understand what everything is about, even though you know what the song is about. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making myself understood here, but I think it's the having the whole song ready will for sure complete this thought of the song, at least for me.
Yeah, I think that is a process which full meaning you will discover once the album is released and you go on tour, and the fans will come back to you and they will say, that the lyrics you wrote, they resonate with them. You know what I mean? I'm sure that will happen many times with after this album is released.
Yeah, I mean, already happens quite a bit with the new singles, which is something awesome to have that talk with the fans and people just sometimes just like emailing or sending us messages on how a specific song is helping them in a bad moment of their lives. It is yeah, it is very fulfilling to know that we can help out somebody else. That's that's why we make music. I mean, in the beginning, you want to help yourself. That's why you put something out there that is important for you, and then some of the consequences of it will be somebody else listening to it, making their own sense about it, their own understandings about it, relating it to themselves, their experiences, and yeah, and that can become a very important and impactful song also for somebody else, not just you.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't know if you noticed too, but it seems that these days a lot of bands that are extreme, whether it's metal or hardcore, they have very personal and very deep lyrics. While back in the day, like in the 90s, in the 80s, most of the extreme metal bands didn't have personal lyrics. They wrote either about mythology, about Satanism, about war, destruction, apocalypse, but not many personal lyrics. Why do you think it changed?
I think this new generation of bands like us, people of I don't know, my age or my yeah, I would say so. So I think these new bands from our era don't. I think we have something important to say, or we feel like we have something important to say. So it's not about fiction. It's not about telling a story about the gods or about Satanism or about uh, whatever. I think we have something to say, and I think it start. I think I noticed that, of course, with us, but also with bands like De Weg en de Vrijheid, and I don't know, so many bands that bring a lot of intimacy to their lyrics, and having a lot of their personality bleed through the songs. Um, I think it's just a change in the generation of bands. Um, I think the fans care a lot more for lyrics these days, at least from the last like 20 years, in my opinion. And I think it's important to write something that you want people to also sing along to or know the important aspects of your lyrics and not just have an amazing music with some lyrics on top of it. Um, that's 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 what we're trying to do, at least on our end.
Yeah. And one of my favorite songs on this album by far is no, is Nomad, and it's a great melody, great riffs, amazing groove, but also the lyrics. I think is it about an imposter syndrome?
Could be, but it's not actually. It's about the sense of not belonging anywhere. And I think it's just something that I've felt that for quite a long time for the last couple of years, not just me, but some other people in the band. I mean, we tour so much, we can barely build something else outside of a tour. You know, uh, moving moving into a house or having some other stuff going on in your life. I mean, we tour so much, we dedicate so much of our lives into this that sometimes it's very complicated to feel like you actually come back home after a tour, after recording something. It just feels like you get stuck in this uh, passage between going on tour again or going into the studio again because we've been so active for the last 10 years. We never stopped. So I think for us, it's just something important is to it's that lack of sense of having a home or a place to come back to. Um, and nomad is exactly that. I mean, how we're complete nomads. We've been like that for the last at least 5 or 6 years since the pandemic is over. We've been constantly on the road, um, pausing a lot of our personal lives if they are even there, because we spend more time on the road than actually being home for at least a month or something. So I think it's just that sense of not belonging anywhere. While you belong to the whole world, basically, like a piece of it, like all the pieces of your body are scattered around the world. You're always thinking about being out there, performing for the whole world to see. And then sometimes you just understand that you're just very empty inside because when you come back home, if there's a home to come back to, um, it's not as beautiful as the as the as the um, as the housing you build for yourself when you're on the road. So yeah, it's the lack of sense of home, a lack of sense of a place to come back to where you feel also safe. I think it's just something very important for us um, to find that balance, and this album is also about finding that balance for us where uh, we know that we were born to do this, but there's also other things in life that are very important for us right now.
Mhm. And talking about touring, like Poland is the countries that you one of the countries that you visited the most in your career. So I wonder, like, what what do you like here? What makes you come back here so often?
Poland's great. Amazing people. We have a lot of Polish friends and bands we got to know. Um, and we have very good memories from playing in Poland. I mean, I remember 2 years ago playing. in Warsaw with Behemoth in that open air stage. I do not recall the venue, but anyways, I mean, it was really cool to play with them in their hometown. I remember we played quite a few times in Krakow, and it's always super cool. I mean, amazing people. The Polish people are always super grateful for everything we have done in the country. Yeah, I mean, it's just a great country to play in. Great people, amazing audience, and it's a country that always has to be there every time we go on the road.
And the last time you've been here, like last year, you played with Orbit Culture, which was like amazing show. And I know it was one of your dreams to tour with Orbit Culture. So tell me, how did this dream come happen?
Uh, I've been listening to Orbit Culture, think that since 2014 when they started. They're just a couple of years older than we are. And it was always in the back of my mind that that was a cool band on the internet for me because I don't think they toured back then. And then they just like skyrocketed, started playing tours, and we were also playing. And at some point, we started texting each other, became good internet friends, and then we all met at Summer Breeze 2 years ago, and it was just like love at first sight. We just really loved each other. We realized that we were fans of each other's bands for a long time, and we love their music. They love our music, and and they ended up inviting us a couple of times to tour with them. And finally, that time in October last year, it happened. It was really cool, perfect timing because they had a new album out. We were starting to promote Loss with new singles, so. Yeah, by far the best tour we ever did in terms of audience, in terms of venues, in terms of packaging, in terms of lineup. Everything was really, really good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It was amazing. And Gaerea is evolving constantly since your very first EP. Like you're changing from album to album, but you're still Gaerea. It's still the same band. So I wonder, I mean, do you consider that Gaerea is still a black metal band, or maybe has it ever been a black metal band?
I don't know. I mean, we're not we're not putting ourselves inside any box these days. I don't really care. We're a metal band. Um, we have some black metal elements, a lot of them, quite honestly. We have a lot of hardcore elements. We have, for sure, some metalcore elements these days. We have some rock elements these days. We have choruses. We have blast beats. I think we just sound like Gaerea. That's what we're trying to do. We want to be the first Gaerea band, if that could be a thing, where we blend all of these extremes. But we can also be vulnerable, minimalistic with our music. We can be catchy. We can be dissonant. We can be super aggressive. And I think Loss is exactly that. It's an album that has songs like Hellbound, but then has songs like Stardust, which makes no sense if you look at it. But for me, it's just like perfect because it's all of the extremes of the spectrum where our mind goes to when we're writing an album like this. I think it's just a very complete record with all of the right things and all of the important things. Um, so yeah, maybe a few years ago, uh, we would make a complete like black metal dissonant album or a more explosive, liberating, still black metal record, and it just evolves. We don't want to keep writing the same music. I think it's boring. Me as a listener, I think it's boring when my favorite bands do that. And quite honestly, it's a very selfish thing to say, but if I'm bored with the music that I'm creating, I'm gonna stop making it. So I think for me, it's just about challenging myself and the band, also the rest of the guys challenging themselves the most we can, stepping out of our comfort zone and just just letting things flow without being too worried if we're gonna fit into the black metal box or the death metal box. I mean, we just don't fucking care. We don't even know what box we could fit in, and I think that's great because the most of our fans also don't really care where we fit in. They just like us, and they can like us and go to our show, but then they can also go to a extreme deathcore whatever show, and then maybe the last show. I mean, well, normally we ask to this to the fans, and we get like the most crazy like what do you say, timelines of shows that people go to. I mean, I don't think we have strict or only strict like black metal fans. We have a bit of everything. People that just love music.
Absolutely, it resonates with a very diverse audience. And it's also interesting that today we live in the age where you can post anything online. Like people post their images online on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, like anywhere you want. And yet it seems that for some people, like this sense of animos, being anonymous is quite important because when you look at the metal stage, there's you, there is Sleep Token, there is President, all the bands that are masked and anonymous. Do you think, like, I don't know, maybe on the psychological level, it attracts also people, the fact that you are anonymous and masked?
I don't know. It's taking us 10 years to do what we're doing. I mean, we're not exploding. We didn't explode in 2016 when we started because we used masks. We're not exploding now on TikTok because we're using masks. I mean, I don't know. I haven't experienced that explosion of people that love masked bands. I think we have fans that love what we do. We care for them a lot. I don't know if there's an appeal for masked bands. I don't think there is. I think there's just a lot of freedom to be whatever you want to be, which is great. I have nothing bad to say about President or Sleep Token or any other masked band. Um, some masked bands I love, some others I don't. I mean, it's about for me, it's about the music. Um, so I don't know. I mean, probably a fan could answer that question way better. But for us, it's all about the music. It's all about um, the expression of it, and for sure, of course, there's an appeal to something a masked band could do when the band is just exploding. I mean, look at what happened with Sleep Token, with all their identities being leaked and all that, which is quite sad to see. But hopefully, we will never experience something like that. So we love our privacy. We do this because of the music. We want people to focus on the music, and that's the most important thing for us.
So you think Gaerea will never go unmasked, like Kiss in the 80s when they dropped their makeup and they played unmasked?
No, because if you ask Kiss, that was probably the worst thing they ever did.
Probably, yeah. Uh, okay, so it's been great talking to you. Hope to see you again in Poland. I don't know if you got already planned tour or festival shows in Poland yet.
I don't think we do. I know we have a very busy agent working his ass off to make everything possible, and I'm pretty sure Poland is in the works soon, but for now, um, we're not gonna play in Poland anytime soon, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna come back with this new album.